Okay, so first up, I kind of want to apologize a little, like lately for the amount of political stuff that I have been saying, but it's because like whilst I no longer live in said place, my friends are still like trapped there and they don't really have any financial means to escape or anything. And even if they have managed to escape, they aren't really confident in their own ability to survive elsewhere around the world, basically, due to like a difference in culture and stuff like that. Because even the more moderate incumbent supporters, right? Like, just everybody in general, like, except those diehard supporters, I would say, when they looked at like the cabinet, I think a lot of people they were like the equivalent of like, ah, 終わりだ。その人々ダメですよ. That's what they thought of like the cabinet in general. And on a personal level, it just hurts to see them like suffering in silence like that and not really being able to do anything about it. Because if you think about it, like about like the whole far right within countries such as Aussie, USA, or even parts of Europe, right? At the very least, most of the like far right supporters there are uneducated people. But unfortunately, in the case of where my friends live, the far right isn't just made up of like uneducated people. It's like a mixture between educated people, not so educated people, and the foreigners whom eventually get converted. I mean, naturalized to become new citizens. It's like a mixture actually. And in general, people just don't have the confidence that like they would know what to do, like they would do the right thing in future. So you kind of just feel sad for them and you kind of want to speak up about it. It's better than nothing because you're not going to be able to change the minds of the people who just permanently vote for, blah, blah, blah. But as long as more people hear the message, more people will be aware of like the actual situations, the dire situations that they are in, and it concerns like global warming as well. Not just like livability in general, but even global warming as well. So, first and foremost, do you know why he got promoted despite being seemingly out of touch with the ground and as well as like his own antics such as swearing at Hong Kong's football fans? The reason why a lot of these like uh, people from the military got parachuted into the incumbents party, and the reason why they get promoted and all that stuff like that is actually really simple. They are easier to instruct. Like it's easier to tell them to do their bidding, like the higher ups bidding without question, like the yes man thingy. So even though their performance, like walking the ground and stuff like that, and being in touch with people, whilst their performance might have sucked, ultimately they still got the raise because they are easy to instruct. And I don't even want to go into the details about whatever happened at Jalan Kayu, because the guy almost tried to sell NTUC that alliance deal, and there was a time when he was in like the Ministry of Education. He treated like his employees like complete trash. So yeah, you got it. He managed to con people. But this one is more of like internal politics, and let's just say he kind of got rigged in because some people who were more senior, they actually wanted him. But the main point about this video, it's regarding Clementi Forest. And you might be thinking, why isn't anybody from the incumbents actually voting against this? And you need like people from, oops, I'm bad at drawing. To the point whereby you need people from the other parties to actually say, hey, this is ultimately not a good idea. Please don't proceed with this. Because, as explained, the incumbents, they are full of yes men, and it is hard to go against, like, I know they keep saying about, oh, we want young people with fresh new ideas and stuff like that. But that's just a euphemistic way of saying, hey, we just want quote unquote fresh new ideas that align with like our interests, like our own party's interests and our own narratives and stuff like that, our own notion. It's a lot harder to actually suggest something alternative if you are with the incumbents, like if you actually work there. So the reason why people have been championing for alternative voices in parliament is because you actually need people from the alternative parties to like actually raise issues and prevent them from just greenlighting things carelessly, like the cutting down of forests. And nobody can even say that like the alternative parties aren't doing any work. Because here's the thing. If you actually lived near one of those pickleball courts, you would know that the noise it generates, right, it actually kind of drives you nuts over time. So it's actually from a wide range of issues. It's not just like the bigger issues such as like global warming, climate change, housing, and it's not just that, but or even like suggesting to lower the COE equivalent for motorcycles because they don't produce as much like greenhouse gas as opposed to they don't contribute to global warming as badly as opposed to like bigger vehicles per se. And it's also to help people whom they need to commute but they aren't able to afford a car, for example. So there's that as well. And there's also the smaller scale issues such as like within your neighborhood, noise issues, cleanliness issues, sheltered linkways, and stuff like that. And you also have to realize that anything that is like suggested by the alternative parties, the credit would get actually stolen from them, and then the incumbents would just pass the bill or implement it like as if it was their own suggestion. And then there's also the whole thing about like it taking more time to be approved, like sheltered linkways. Like a sheltered linkway being constructed in, let's say, Compassville, Anchorvale, Rivervale, it would take a lot longer to build a sheltered linkway there as opposed to a sheltered linkway in any other estate that's not Aljuni, Hougang, or Sengkang for now. So there's that as well. So basically, a longer time to enact change and get things done smoothly. But at least there is now diehard evidence that nobody can say that like they aren't talking about pressing issues, because this whole global warming thing is a pressing issue. But it's not like right-wing people would care about it, right? That's the reason why right-wing people, they tend to favor the incumbents or elites, per se. Wait till your country sinks, because your country is only like how many meters above sea level. Whereas I'll be safe. But not like I would take it for granted, I'm just saying. Because talking about public transport, right? There is no bridge that links Clementi Avenue 4 to Sunset Way. If not, 284 could be easily extended there. But since that is obviously not possible, let's talk about the future transport nodes. So when I say nodes, right, this is not going to be accurate, but I believe it's something like, I don't even know what the alignment would be like, but something like this. And then there's also Tanga line as well, which is supposed to slice through here, if I'm not mistaken, like around here. And then this would be the interchange station. I believe it's gonna interchange, correct me if I'm wrong. And then outside you have your bus services, but I'm just gonna be talking about like the most pressing ones. Anyway, I don't think 52 would ever actually be rationalized, because if they actually do build new flats at the expense of deforestation, I don't think 52 would actually be on the chopping block because of this. But the most important thing is that your MRTs, they are one node. Your bus routes, they are also another node as well. They are completely different. They serve different purposes. Obviously, there is going to be some extent of like hub and spoke, right? But ultimately, these bus routes, they are not the exact same node as the MRT. So they are going to have their own unique demand. But the one thing that I'm genuinely worried about, besides the deforestation, is that whilst yes, you have your MRT that's going to like take away some demand and alleviate some of the pressure from the bus services, right? I mean, that's the reason why you even built MRT in the first place, along like the quote unquote highest corridors, so that you can transport more people to wherever they want to go. But the issue is that, yes, there is MRT to soften the blow, but the pressing issue is that the more forest you clear out, especially around this area, and let's say around this area as well, to build whatever they want to build, right? This is actually quite a sizable chunk. It's not just like 911's West Loop, which is like, you know, Woodland Street 13, there are a bunch of new flats, right? It's not just like that small area. This is actually quite a sizable area, and because of that, right, you guys know I have talked about 154 being more suited for Benties, right? Even though it's like not the most pressing issue. But even if we don't discuss about this, let's just say 154 continues using whatever fleet it currently has, right? This one will be the most pressing issue. So whilst, let's say, Downtown Line is going to get extended to Yishun, sorry, it's going to get extended to UT, right? In future. To be more precise, like, Stagman's going to get one station, and then Choa Chu Kang North 7 is going to get another, if I'm not mistaken, another station as well. And then the last station is Sungai Kadut. So 979X already indirectly took away a lot of demand coming from 302. I know they're not related, but that's the reason why I said indirectly. And the fact is that like you run more 979s, regardless of whether it's the normal service, the standard service, or if it's the express variant of it. the fact is that you run more buses. And the people who take 302 are either going to Chua Chu Kang Way, or they're going to Street 52. Basically, the sectors that are not necessarily shared by 979X during peak hours, where most of the demand is from. And so, because of that, you could concentrate your resources on the new extended downtown line as well as 979, 979X, right? And then you could finally downgrade 302, and I can confidently say this in future, you can even downgrade 302 to a full single-decker fleet. If you want to put like one or two bendy buses during peak hours, it's fine, but weekends and everything, I can confidently say you can just downgrade to a full single-decker fleet. I know it contradicts whatever I have said earlier, right? The fact that like 302 is more suited for bendy buses, right? But the more I think about the future trends, right, the more I think it's actually okay to downgrade. And I think it's even happening right now. So yes, you have stuff like this going on. But at the same time, in future, you have services like this, or maybe even this as well. Like, the neighborhood bus services, right? They're going to need more bendies to cater towards like the additional demand that's coming up. Because I'm pretty sure even Sembawang, they're probably going to build new flats, like especially around like Sembawang Drive. It's like mostly empty space, like open space. It's just grass. I have a feeling that like instead of reforesting the area or whatever, they're just gonna build more. So the more they build these like apartments, which are HDB flats basically, or even condominiums, you need more bendy buses, especially when these services are more suited for bendy buses in the first place. So not only do you have to worry about deforestation and global warming, climate change, and stuff like that, you also have to worry about the strain that you are putting on the existing bus services as well. And the same thing goes for Paya Lebar Air Base. Like when that thing moves out, right, and then it's reforesting that area, they actually wanna. I would rather they concentrate on that area as opposed to deforesting this area. But whatever, it's not like this country's government will ever listen anyway. And even if they did, they're pretty much reactive. If it's not a pressing issue, they would just like, whatever, life is good. I got my 88 million, ha ha ha. But in the case of like PLAB, I think the same thing is probably going to happen to 72 and then 58 to a lesser extent as well, because there's Tampines Avenue 10. So this is basically deforestation and its impact not only on the environment but also on your public transport network as well, I would say. Anyway, I don't think there's actually any reason why. Okay, it might fetch air, but I don't think there's any reason stopping them from actually proceeding with the construction of this new MRT line. It's just a matter of like, it's most likely gonna be like Ulupandan Road, Holland Road, Queensway, and then it will intersect at Commonwealth. I would be actually surprised if they actually managed to curve it down, like actually twist it down to like Dover Road. I would be surprised if that actually happens. The same thing goes for like the Tavistock thingy. Tavistock is the one that has the provisions. If they somehow still want to mess up that junction between Yio Chu Kang Road and Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3 and Hougang Avenue 2, if they somehow still want to mess up that junction just to, you know, force force that station to become an interchange, it depends on whether it's worth it or not, but like, it's most likely gonna be Tavistock. If they actually somehow manage to force it through Serangoon North, I would actually be surprised. Then there is the whole talk about whether it's going to be Jalan Kayu or Fernvale that gets the new MRT station. Like, where is the station box actually going to be? Do you prioritize like the main road, which is Jalan Kayu, or do you prioritize having a quote unquote interchange station, regardless of whether it's paid or unpaid link? What am I talking about? Regardless of whether you have to exit the fare gates to transfer or not. That's what I'm trying to say. With Fernvale, that's a whole thing. The only thing I gotta say is that the whole STL thingy is just gonna be like quite costly. And anyway, right, for TL, there's gonna be two scenarios. Number one, SBS is gonna take over it. Number two, SMRT is gonna retain it because their Depot 4.0 is funded by themselves, and if they manage to impress LTA, they might actually keep it. Who knows? Which has implications on the amount of rigging that's going to happen for the future MRT lines, JRL, CRL, STL. It will ultimately depend on how keen SBS is willing to take on these real projects. And, I don't know, give SMRT more bus packages in return. I don't know.